So something happened at my school last year that I'm pretty sure nobody outside of the district would believe. Honestly, I'm not even sure the people who were there believe it anymore. The weirdest part is that everybody acts like it never happened. There are hundreds of witnesses. Thousands technically. There are photos. There are videos. There are probably government reports somewhere. And yet whenever somebody brings it up, everyone suddenly remembers they have somewhere else to be. Anyway, it started on a Tuesday. Not an important Tuesday. Not a holiday. Not Spirit Week. Just a random Tuesday in October. Second period history class. The teacher was talking about the Industrial Revolution. Nobody was paying attention. Then we heard a loud metallic sound outside. It sounded like somebody dropped a dumpster from a helicopter. Everyone looked up. The teacher paused for a second and continued the lesson. Then it happened again. And again. Each time louder than before. Eventually, even the teacher got annoyed enough to look out the window. The second he looked outside, he stopped talking. Not in a dramatic way. More in the way a computer freezes when it's trying to process too much information at once. He just stood there. Motionless. Eventually someone asked what was happening. He replied with a sentence I will never forget. He said, "I don't think that's supposed to be here." Naturally everybody rushed to the window. And there, moving across the football field, was a pirate ship. A full-sized pirate ship. Sails up. Crew on deck. Cannons visible. The whole thing. The football field had somehow become an ocean. Not partially. Completely. The bleachers were now docks. The goalposts had transformed into lighthouses. And several seagulls were circling overhead despite the fact that the nearest coastline was hundreds of miles away. At first everybody assumed it was some kind of elaborate prank. Then we realized the ocean had fish in it. Then we realized the fish were larger than cars. Then one of the fish jumped over the gymnasium. At that point people stopped looking for logical explanations. The principal came over the intercom. Her exact words were, "Students are reminded that unauthorized maritime activity remains prohibited on school grounds." That was it. No explanation. No instructions. Just a reminder. As though pirate invasions happened often enough to require a policy. Things got stranger almost immediately. A man dressed as a pirate captain walked to the front of the ship and unfurled an enormous map. He stared at it for a few moments, then looked directly at the school, then crossed something off, then nodded. The entire crew cheered, which was concerning, because it suggested they had actually found what they were looking for. Nobody wanted to know what that was. Unfortunately, we found out. About 10 minutes later, the ship docked beside the cafeteria. The captain stepped ashore and announced that he was there to collect the treasure. Nobody knew what he meant. The administration denied possessing any treasure. The captain disagreed. A lengthy argument followed. At one point both sides produced paperwork. The pirates had paperwork. Official paperwork. Stamped paperwork. They claimed ownership of something hidden somewhere beneath the school. The school district claimed otherwise. The debate lasted nearly 45 minutes. Eventually they agreed to settle the matter through arbitration. For some reason, the arbitration was conducted by a goose. Not a person. A goose. Nobody questioned this. The goose reviewed the documents, walked in a circle 3 times, then pointed at the cafeteria. The pirates celebrated. The school administration looked devastated. Apparently the goose's ruling was legally binding. Construction began immediately. Pirates started digging beneath the cafeteria floor. Teachers attempted to continue classes during all of this. This proved difficult, especially after several pirates accidentally discovered a second cafeteria buried underneath the first cafeteria. And beneath that one was another cafeteria. Then another. Then another. According to reports, there were at least 27 underground cafeterias stacked beneath the school. Nobody knew why. The district later claimed this was normal infrastructure. Around noon things became significantly worse. The excavation team uncovered a gigantic vault door. The door had no visible hinges. No handle. No luck. Just a sign. The sign read, "Do not open until Thursday." Unfortunately, it was Tuesday. The pirates opened it immediately. The moment the vault opened, every clock in the building stopped. Every single one. Phones stopped. Computers stopped. Watches stopped. Even digital microwaves stopped. Time itself didn't stop. Just everything responsible for measuring it. The school entered complete chaos. Students celebrated because they thought classes were effectively over. Teachers argued that class couldn't end because time wasn't advancing. Mathematically, nobody could prove them wrong. The debate is apparently still ongoing. Meanwhile, whatever had been sealed inside the vault escaped. Nobody actually got a good look at it. Witness descriptions vary wildly. Some claimed it was a giant squid. Others described a cloud wearing sunglasses. One student insisted it was an extremely judgmental loaf of bread. Whatever it was, it immediately ran for student council president. And somehow won. Despite not being a student, or human, or fully visible. The election results remain official. At approximately 1:15 p.m. the moon appeared. Now seeing the moon during the day isn't unusual. What's unusual is when it starts getting larger. And larger. And larger. Until it's hovering directly above the gymnasium. A staircase unfolded from it. A man in a suit descended. He introduced himself as the regional manager of the moon. Nobody knew such a position existed. He demanded to speak with the principal. The meeting lasted 2 hours. Neither side has ever disclosed what was discussed. But afterward the moon acquired visitor parking privileges, which it apparently still has. At this point the military arrived. That sounds dramatic. But they were only there because somebody reported a giant pirate ship, a mysterious vault, a moon representative, and 27 illegal cafeterias. Honestly, that's a reasonable thing to investigate. The military attempted to establish a perimeter. This became difficult when the perimeter started moving on its own. Eventually, the perimeter escaped into the woods. Several officers chased it. The perimeter has not been recovered. Then came the chess match. The pirate captain challenged the district superintendent. The stakes were simple. If the superintendent won, the pirates would leave. If the pirates won, they would claim the treasure. Nobody ever clarified what the treasure was. A giant chessboard appeared on the football ocean. Experts were flown in. Grandmasters arrived. Commentators arrived. At one point, the event briefly became the most watched sporting competition on Earth. The match lasted nearly 6 hours. The superintendent made what analysts later called a brilliant move. The pirate captain responded by placing a second king on the board. Everyone objected. The captain claimed maritime law allowed it. Nobody could prove otherwise. Eventually the pirates won. The superintendent surrendered. The treasure was revealed. It was the school mascot. Not the costume. The actual mascot. A 12-foot-tall creature that had apparently been living beneath the school for decades. The mascot emerged from the boat, shook hands with the pirate captain, and voluntarily boarded the ship, which suggested this had all been prearranged. The pirates departed shortly afterward. The ocean vanished. The football field returned. The moon left. The mysterious elected president disappeared. And classes resumed the next day. The district released a statement describing the event as a minor scheduling adjustment. Nobody received further information. The vice principal took early retirement. 3 teachers transferred to different states. The goose was promoted. And every year since then, on the anniversary of the incident, students report hearing distant pirate music coming from beneath the cafeteria floor. The administration insists it's just the ventilation system. Personally, I don't know. But if the ventilation system starts demanding treasure maps again this year, I'm dropping out.